Welcome to PB Cooking with Jay. Today we're going to make a spectacular yet very simple chili. Perfect for a Super Bowl, perfect for a chili day, perfect for, well, any day you want a bowl of chili. That's spectacular and simple. Let's get to it. First up, we're heating up our pot and we're going to add a little bit of oil. I'm using cold press extra virgin oil. That's about a tablespoon and a half. Not going too over the top with it. We're going to chop up this white onion. Let's peel these off. All right. To the compost it goes. If you have compost, use it. Chop these up. Hopefully there's not too many tears. If you're very sensitive to onions, making your eyes water, there's a lot of interesting ways to keep yourself safe. I have a friend that goes so far as to wear ski goggles when chopping onions. Another friend that uses swim goggles. I'm not too sensitive to these, so I don't use either of them. But then again, I don't ski or swim nearly often enough, so if I had them, maybe I would use them. Oh, and even though I say that, I feel the burn in my eyes a little bit. I talk too soon. Mind your fingers. This is a vegan chili. We're not trying to add a meat component of your fingers. We want to get this going first before we add anything else. Our onions and our garlic is going to be our base. Oh, onion juice in my eye. This happened a couple videos ago. Maybe I need to pick a less violent brand of onion. Oh, wow, it got me good. Oh, man. There you go. Maybe everybody wearing goggles is onto something. Toss these in here. I might have gone overzealous. I think I'm just going to use 2/3 of the onion I chopped. The recipe would normally call for garlic cloves. I like to go with garlic that's been pre-chopped. It's just way easier for me. Maybe if I had pre-chopped onion, I wouldn't have taken one in the eye. Make sure you read the directions on your garlic so you know how many cloves, teaspoon, tablespoon is equivalent to. This one clove is half a teaspoon. So we're gonna add, I'm using a fork, but you know, I could eyeball it. Gonna use maybe 3-4 cloves of garlic. Oh, we'll turn that down. We don't wanna char our onions. I'm gonna add in just a bit of black pepper. The black pepper, that comes down to your personal preference. I tend to go a little bit vigorous with it. There we go, just get these guys cooking up nicely. So when I shifted to a plant-based diet, making chili was actually one of the first things I tried. I figure it's pretty easy. All I had to do was sub out the ground beef. Other than that, it's just basically beans. So it was pretty much right there on the cusp. So if you're looking to transition to a plant-based diet, this is a really easy way to do it. This meal is very tasty. There's gonna be a lot of beans in here, so it is very high in fiber. There's obviously with a lot of beans, a lot of protein, but you just gotta, watch your system to see how you adjust to everything. We're gonna add in a small can of tomato paste to our onions that are cooking. Yeah, so I found doing this, there wasn't too much of a difference to my system. We all know when you have chili, there's a lot of beans, and we know that beans are in fact the musical food. If you have never had chili, you'll know what I mean. I'm assuming you've had some version of chili before, so you definitely know what I mean. So as that's cooking up, The substitute for ground beef that I like to use is a Veggie Ground. I like to buy the ones that are pre-made. There are recipes out there that show you how to make a tofu crumble. Off the top, I mentioned that this is a spectacular recipe, but it's also simple. So maybe tofu crumble for another day, but today we'll use one that's pre-done. What's great is they're an easy add. You know, they don't take much time to cook. Just kind of slice open the packaging. And it has that great texture that mimics ground beef. So again, if you're adjusting your diet, this is an easy transition because that texture will remind you of it. And the big driver for the meal, personally I think, are the seasonings that you use in it. If something is well seasoned, it's going to be very good. As you're transitioning and trying new things, you know, if you don't have the seasonings, that's okay. With each recipe that you try, you'll be adding up to your little seasoning cupboard. So you'll always have stuff readily available. So Veggie Ground does not take long to cook. They basically say 5 minutes until heated. So next up, we're gonna add some seasonings that have been pre-measured out. So we have our chili powder, 2 tablespoons. Just sprinkle that in there. We have a tablespoon of ground cumin. Oh, it smells so good. And then we'll add in a tablespoon of smoked sweet paprika. Again, if you're transitioning your diet, this basically looks and will taste like seasoned ground beef. If you've been plant-based, been vegan for quite some time, then you already know this is gonna be delicious. The thing I like about making chili is it actually really is easy. The biggest thing is having a bit of patience. Off the top, you know, we add in our seasoning, add in our onions, add in our garlic, have our Veggie Ground, and thereafter, it's tomato sauce, it's beans, and then it's sitting and simmering for a little bit. I've opted for 3 different kinds of beans. I have black beans, I have white kidney beans, I have dark red kidney beans. I just like a bit of a medley in my chili. You can go with one, the other, totally up to you. You'll notice with the seasoning, I didn't add any salt. I'm using canned goods, so there's inherently salt already in there. I did find some options that were low salt, so that's a very important part for me. That's the same with the tomato sauce that we'll be adding in. There are also no salt added. That's a really important factor for me because with family genes, just prone to hypertension, prone to type 2 diabetes. So this is me trying to eat well and dodge that proverbial bullet, as it were. Open up the cans, we're just gonna drain these away. Another way to avoid adding salt is if you are able to get these beans dried, you can boil them and prepare them and cook them. It adds a lot more to your prep and your cook time. I went with the cans because that is the key part for keeping it simple. Both will be spectacular, just one is not as simple. I'm draining the cans, but I'm also going to give them a little bit of a rinse before I add them to our Veggie Ground garlic seasoned onion deliciousness mix that's happening here. Stir this, we're going to add in the beans and then immediately after add in the tomato sauce. Before that, I just want to add in about a tablespoon and a bit of oregano and just a sprinkling of rosemary. You'll notice that I have not added any cayenne pepper, Tabasco sauce, or anything like that. I'm not just cooking for myself, so I gotta avoid that. But if you're with a group of folks that really enjoy a 5-alarm chili, feel free to add in half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and then leave some hot sauces around so people can kind of measure it out, because you don't want to have people over for the football game, basketball, or just whatever your gathering is, and then like having people on fire because you were very heavy-handed with the cayenne pepper. Be nice. You want people to come over again, don't you? Or maybe you don't. That's up to you to decide. So, black beans, white beans, and then our kidney beans. So, there's a lot of beans happening in this. Just Gonna mix it up before we add in our tomato sauce. Already you can see it's being very chillified, becoming chili. I don't know the technical term. Just know that it's one step closer to being eaten. Next up, I'm gonna add in 2 cans of tomato sauce. You can add in crushed tomatoes. If I didn't use the Veggie Ground, I probably would use a can of crushed tomatoes and a can of diced tomatoes just to give it some added texture. But with the beans, with the Veggie Ground, I opted to go this way. So we'll add these in. It's one can. Oop. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Make sure you give it a nice stir. If there's bits that have been on the bottom, we don't want them to scorch. Cook it on low, medium low for about 45 minutes. And then it's ready to go. That's the beautiful thing about the simple yet spectacular chili. You can pretty much set it. Don't forget it, because that's how you burn things, but it's well on its way. It's been about 50 minutes since the chili has been simmering. Let's take a look. Oh, yes, indeed. That is ready. So you got that nice texture with the Veggie Ground. Totally looks like ground beef here. Got a nice mixture of the kidney beans, the black beans. If you like corn in yours, you'd see like nice flashes of yellow. You could totally add in carrots, whatever you like. This is the spectacular yet simple chili. So that's why we went with ground, we went with beans, chock full of protein, seasoned up nicely. So that protein is backed up with amazing flavors. There we go. And if you would like to add in a bit of that cheesy sort of flavor, you can add on some nutritional yeast on top of it. There are some vegan sour creams if that's what you're into, chop up chives. However you like to garnish your chili, you could find plant-based alternatives to do that here. Oh. Yeah. Chili splashing. It's making its presence known. And there you have it, the spectacular yet simple chili. Absolutely delicious, filled with protein, filled with flavor. Get into the comment section. I would love to know your thoughts on this meal. Would love to know how you jazz it up for yourself. I'm always open to finding new ways to make plant-based cooking fun and continuing to make it easy. So I hope you enjoy this one as much as I do. Bon appetit, bien provecho, enjoy the meal. If you've enjoyed this video, please check out the other recipes here on PB Cooking with Jay. And don't forget to be kind and do good.